Now I'm trying to decide if I want to put a little detail in the drawer face like this, just got a little detail on there, or if I just want to go square. Not really sure what I want to do yet. If I go with a detail, let me bring it closer. If I go with a detail, you see that it'll be kind of sunken in looking, whereas if I go with just a square face, it'll be a more cleaner profile. I don't know what else you'd call it. I sent the customer some pictures on the drawer faces to see which way they decide whether they want the detail or the square. In the meantime, I got to finish this out here so it doesn't look like a sheet of plywood laying on there, or kind of hide that detail. So what I've done is very similar detail on a piece of 1x, and I've routed that edge. So what I'm going to do is cut this on a 45 here and 45 on this side, put the same piece on that side with the same detail, and then glue and brad nail this on. And if there's any gap, I don't expect there to be because it's a nice straight edge, I would putty that, and then I'll putty and sand those brad nails. I'm going to do that while I'm waiting on the customer because I can go ahead and finish this top part, and then we can trim out this the bottoms. So I need to explain what I've done here to get this piece. I don't think I've explained it yet. So what I got is a 1x4. I've been ripping on this piece, but I just routed that edge in there. It's just a 1/4 inch round over bit, and I've just got it sticking up just a little bit past so that it gives that profile edge. And then I'm going to take it on the table saw over here and rip it this width, which is a 1/2 inch. I was right, 1/2 inch. Rip it a 1/2 inch, and then it's 3/4 inches wide. All right, I'm just putting the trim on. This cut 45 on the end. What I did was cut 45s on the end pieces to put them where they go, and then I cut that front piece to fit. I think that with this just being a sheet of plywood and it's only pocket screwed up here, the last thing I want is when they're moving it, or if somebody leans on it, which I don't think leans on it, but if they're moving it and they hit this, is this to all snap loose. I know it's tied in here, but I think it needs a little bit more. So what I've done is it's got a 1x6, I got some pocket holes, and I'm going to put it, and this will also help everything stay squared up top. We'll put it about halfway, but I do want it to have some stability down there. So I'm going to measure about halfway there and attach that, and that'll give this stability so that I don't have to worry about this breaking. To dress up the bottom a little bit, I'm going to do the same thing on this side where the cabinet part is. I just took some 1x4s, the same thing with the same detail as this top band edge, and these are cut on 45s, and then just routed the top. I'm going to attach all this with glue and brad nails, and that'll just kind of dress the bottom up. I'm just using glue and brad nails, and then I'll put a little glue on the head, on the joints. I'll put a glue on that one when we get ready. This one's already attached. Pretty simple, just 45-degree angles. As long as everything's square, should have decent joints, and it won't look like it's all out of whack. What I have done is just laid the desk on its back, so that way I don't have to worry about the massive collapse I had earlier where the face frame just kept falling. So I can set these in here, and we did go with the detailed edge. The customer decided that's what they wanted. Now we're just going to split the difference all the way down and side to side. Probably going to go into time-lapse mode here so that we can save a little time. But I'm going to do the exact same thing I was doing earlier. We're going to stack cards. Well, I can't leave them in there because they'll fall out. But I will be able to stack from the side here, however many cards wide on each one. And then once I get all my spacing set like I want, I'm going to take my brad nailer and put 2 brad nails in it just to hold it. I can flip it back up and put screws in from the other side. But the brad nails will help hold it. We're going to putty and sand those back smooth anyway, so it's not going to show, but that's the best way that I found to keep these faces on there. That way they don't move on you. Well, because if you had it upright, and even if you clamped it and you was trying to drill a hole from the back side and it ends up moving or something, it's a pain in the rear end. So if you can brad nail them on, get the spacing just right, make sure everything looks level. You don't want to, well, I don't want to wind up with one drawer face that looks crooked. So that's why I'm going to space all these out and put brad nails in it. Let's time lapse. Now, before I've done a little light sanding, but nothing major. Just kind of hit these edges so that they're not sharp, because this is a desk. So people are going to have a keyboard up here or a laptop. You don't want those things cutting into your arm, because when you route that edge, it is kind of sharp. So I just took my sander on a bevel and just hit that, just to knock that edge off. But first, before I do my final sand, I got to put this. This is wood filler. This is DAP plastic Woodworks. Pretty good stuff. I've used it a couple times. It's a putty. Just dab it in those holes. Once it's dry, we'll go back and we'll sand that smooth. But I'll drop a link to this stuff in the description. After the putty's dry and set, it takes about 15-20 minutes, just a light sand with some 120 grit sandpaper. Here's the fun part. We get to put these drawer pulls on, and you want them centered, right? You don't want them too high, too low, too left or too right. You want them all to be lined up. So these are just brushed satin nickel cup style pulls. You'll notice the holes are on the bottom. They sent, well, I bought these. They have these extra long screws. Some of them don't come with these, so be careful. When you're gonna need that, because you got 2 3/4 inch pieces of material you gotta go through. So these are perfect size for that. These are 3-inch center holes. All the screws just about 3 inches on center. So you need to make sure of that too, because some of them aren't that centered. How I lay these out is I took my first drawer on top. You measure half the distance, which is 16.5 is what these drawers are, which would be 8 1/4, and then you go 1.5 inches on each side of the 8 1/4. That makes 3 inches across here. And then on these, the holes being on the bottom, it wound up being 2 1/8 inches from the bottom, 3 3/8 from the top. These are 1.5 inches deep. So if you want to center them up that way. So I just measured 1.5 inches, and with the holes being on the bottom, I just put that difference. And I marked these first, and then I marked the ones on the bottom, left and right, where I wanted them. And then I took a straight edge like this and mark these 2 in the middle. That way they're all going to be the same. Just picked out a drill bit which was just slightly larger than my screw. I mean barely. It may actually even be the same size. And then before you drill, if you just mark them and start drilling, your drill bit may walk on you. So I just got a punch. This is just a small nail punch, very inexpensive. I held it on the mark and then tapped it with a hammer just to make a hole. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera, but there's small holes in all of those. So next, what I'm going to do is go ahead and drill those holes and start putting those drawer slides or drawer pulls on, and then we'll be done with this. One thing I will mention, if you're painting or staining this, go ahead and drill your holes and then just leave the hardware off until you get through painting or staining. On this particular one, the customer has someone she uses to paint. They do a special paint job for her on all the furniture I've built so far, so I'm just going to leave it unfinished just for her. And so I'll go ahead and put the hardware on and then the painter can take it off. Show you, I weigh about 185 pounds. This is a solid desk. It's not going to bow or anything like that. So if you've got a decent sized computer that's going to be sitting up here, or if your kids climb on stuff or whatever the case may be, this desk is going to be strong enough to hold and support them. So you don't have to worry about it. It's not particle board. This is 3/4 inch, high quality sandy birch plywood. So it's a good solid plywood. Just gonna go give you some camera views around this whole desk and let you see what it looks like. Back in the second video where I had the mistake where I had the desk flipped around, this is how I fixed it. I cut a piece of 1x and stuck in there. It also gives it added support. It has those pocket holes and it looks nice too. Bye.